Okay, so seriously, this dude is not putting enough of that. Not in my books. So I guess we're gonna have to do a big batch. We're talking about a chimichurri con hojas de Zanahoria. We're doing carrot greens in a chimichurri. This is the best way to use everything when you're purchasing fresh herbs and carrots with the greens. So head on over to kcknh.com, find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I learned at a local farm stand that a lot of people do not take the greens with them when they're purchasing farm fresh carrots. Guys, stop doing that. Take them home. You are missing out on the most delicious condiment possible that could be made. So with chimichurri, we're going to add these carrot greens to them. And believe it or not, it is the simplest thing to make. It does require quite a bit of chopping. If you're up for it, join me with this, guys, because seriously, this is flavor packed and you're going to wonder why you never did this. So bring the carrots home, but get them in a bath right away. Pulling these up, there's probably going to be a little bit of bugs, little pebbles, there could be dirt, clumps of dirt. So it's very important to wash them really good. Pull out any of the dead leaves that you might find. Sometimes it'll be on the inside. I actually have some leftover herbage from another night. We want to remove the thick stocky stems on this parsley. I save the parsley stems for stock making. It's just another way of not wasting, but I'm going to use everything else in the bowl. Now we also were going to put in some cilantro. Now you'll see here this is a full bundle, and we're going to remove the roots and the bottom parts of the cilantro. We're going to cut right there. Those can be put into a container with a little bit of water, and you can just grow your cilantro or save it for when you're making your own curry paste for Thai dishes. Also another dish I did. So one healthy cut, and we're going to move those stems aside. So just go through, see if you want to pull any out that maybe you want to use for garnish. I always do that. I always get a few of everything and put it off to the side. I don't know, it just makes the plate beautiful, and freshness is such an important thing. So after I've put it through the ringer in a bath, I'm going to line some paper towels down, and we're going to absorb as much water as possible. Now you can use paper towels, or if you got some really good tea towels, that's a good thing to use. It's also a great opportunity to catch anything else you might not have been able to find the first time. So I found a few stragglers that just clearly they're not paying rent, so they had to be evicted. And after we have pressed down to pull anything else out, we're going to get some more paper towels, and we're going to create this sandwich effect. And you can see right away a lot of the moisture is already being absorbed. This is not a one and done, guys. You do have to do this a couple times. You may even saturate a tea towel, and you may need to do another tea towel cover. So make sure you're getting out as much water as possible, because the next part we're going to be working on chopping this up. And honestly, this is the most soothing aroma I find when you're working with fresh herbs, the greens. It's really a very satisfying aroma. So I'm just tossing this around. I want to get this as dry as possible. So I'm doing another round with my paper towels. You'll probably end up doing this a few times. So if you're into doing the actual legwork, this is the perfect project for you. And get the kids involved too. Why not? I'm sure they'd have a ball with this. So once we've taken as much fluid out as we can, we're going to start balling this up. And I have to advise you, curl your fingers in and be very careful. So I'm going to start breaking this down with my knife. We're doing a rough chop just to get it going. But we're not done. This is going to start looking like a big project. It might come across that way, but it really isn't. So the more that you can apply that knife to it, the smaller we're going to get those pieces to where we need them to be. So through the course of the recording here, you're going to take note changes into the greens that are made. After we're chopping this, we're going to turn it over, turn it onto itself, keep chopping. The goal is we want to take this down to a condiment style texture, so small little bits. And we're just going to go to town with the knife. And really, the goal is just making sure everything is as evenly cut as possible. So just have at it with this. And automatically, you can see the change in this. And that's the consistency we're looking for. Super teeny tiny. And you don't want to worry too much about any of the tiny stems. You're already chopping the hell out of it, and that's exactly what you want to do. Who would have thought you really want to do a hack job on it? So I'm loving the texture of this, and I'm at that point where I'm going to start working on a couple other ingredients here. Now, chimichurri is garlic forward, acidic forward. You do need to determine on your own how much you want to put in. I'm a very heavy garlic hitter. And by the way, this recipe, you do need a scale. I cannot put this into cups. It's not going to work. It will not work. That's why you need a scale. So everything's been broken down in the recipe for you, but you do need a scale to pull this off. Now, I like to follow a rule of thumb. When I'm working with my finely chopped garlic, I mix it in stages. You'll see here, it easily clumps. And that's why we want to do a little bit at a time, stir it in. I'm going to add my red wine vinegar. I don't add all of the vinegar at once. I like to build it in stages. And that gives me a chance to really break down that garlic into the mixture. And we're doing a little bit more olive oil, a little bit more of the vinegar. And don't be afraid of seasoning this, guys. This is where you got to use your palate. I can eyeball the amount of salt and pepper that's going to go into this. Red pepper flakes is at your own discretion. There's always a little bit of warmth to this. It's not meant to be super spicy unless you're like me and you can handle it. But where I want to keep my husband alive, I'm going to be very careful with the red pepper flakes. And mix everything as you go. You're going to find that sometimes this is going to separate. That's okay. Keep mixing. And ultimately, the goal is we're going to put this in the fridge for a few hours. It's actually better if you do this the night before. You're planning, say, a grill, and you're going to do a whole bunch of proteins, because then the flavors marry in the most beautiful way. It's like incredible. And the beauty of this, that green is maintained. That is like the most beautiful color. When you're working with fresh herbs, there's nothing like it. You eat with your eyes first, you know? So, all in all, it really is the most simplest dish you can make. Now, it's up to you texture-wise. I've worked with some people that like to puree the whole thing, and they get the little bits and pieces. I like to blitz half of this. So that's what I'm doing. I got one of those small, high-powered blenders. I got half of them, and I pureed the crap out of it. And I'm going to mix that right back in the bowl. A lot of intense flavor, and look at the green. It's freaking sexy. So I'm going to mix that pureed version into what's left of the chopped version. And I find it's really just it's a simple act to make it even better, in my opinion. But that is also something you can decide on your own. Don't you love that? Ideas that give you the control of how you want to take it. That's the best part about this. Like, you really don't even need a recipe to make this. It's all based on taste testing. So I've got this all mixed, nice and incorporated. The colors are stunning. And to be quite honest, I could eat this right out of the bowl. Screw waiting. So we're going to take a look at what we use this. Guys, check out this sexy condiment. Look at how vibrant those colors are. And I like to use this on a steak dinner. You can use it with vegetables, roast them off, use this as a condiment. And to be honest with you guys, I can't think of a better way to use everything from the farm stand. So be sure to like, subscribe, and share. I hope you enjoy this, and hey, happy cooking.